Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird, TMichelle Birdsong in New York City, mainstream and close to you. The name of this video is Stevie Wonder Explained by Eve the Genius. Okay? Swallowing. Stevie Wonder. Swallowing. Stevie Wonder. Allow. Allow. All low. All will, L for will, O-W, ow, for hurt. All wills hurt. That is what Stevie thinks. Whether you're the prostitute or the pimp or the trick, all wills hurt. That is his subconscious programming. His mother was a prostitute. His father was a pimp. He did not identify with his father, so he identified with the tricks. So he's a trick, okay? Wills. Stevie Wonder, that's S over here for S over there, and W. Stevie Wonder, I for I, L for L for L is ill. Stevie Wonder, ill. That is the message in the writing, the automatic writing. Stevie Wonder has never forgiven his father for pimping his mother, so he doesn't identify with his father. He doesn't identify with his mother. That would make him overly feminine, homosexual. Nor is he against his mother, in competition with her to see how many more babies can he create than her. That's why those masculine homosexuals are so promiscuous. So the only archetype Stevie could identify with is the trick, the Johns, the victims of his mother, the prostitute. So Stevie is a trick. That is his childhood subconscious programming. His other daughter, Lyric Wonder, Takia, told me that Stevie buys every woman he sleeps with a place to live, a townhouse or a condo. Like the woman is a whore and he's a trick, paying for her sexual favors. Whereas real people, he should pay, he does not pay. Takia's mother, Sarita Wright, Stevie's first wife, gave him ideas for songs that he never credited her with. So she nor her estate, now that she's dead, were never paid royalties. So Takia, her daughter, is poor and homeless. Well, she was when I knew her anyway. She's even attempted suicide. Steve says he cares about her, but he's never bought her a place to stay. He didn't even keep his word to me. He called me twice and said he would reimburse me the $2,000 I was due for the time I gave up my bedroom, telephone, TV, and food to let Takia stay with me in my apartment at Steve's request for months. Though I was living on a fixed income, Social Security retirement pension, just like now. Stevie owes, only I had an apartment then. Stevie owes his lawyer, negotiator, Johanna Magoda's wife, money. In the early 70s, Johanna asked Edwin Birdsong, my then husband, and I, if we thought little Stevie Wonder could cross over from being a soul singer to being a pop star. His handlers wanted Johanna, a genius music business deal maker, Richie Havens' attorney, to take Steve on as a client and make him into the big time, and move him into the big time like he did Richie Havens. See Richie at Woodstock on the video Freedom. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, as all Earth's children are motherless. Edwin was a fan, well, in the past. The mother's here now. Eve is here. Eve has come out of obscurity and is accepting publicity. So Edwin was a fan of jazz. He grew up playing gospel music in the church. In the army, he played the music that he liked, jazz. On the hot spot, creating and ad-libbing, playing without a music score. He had been Bach and urban Berlin, and he had never been into soul music, so Edwin couldn't comment on Johannon's question. But I was a Stevie Wonder fan, indeed, unbeknownst to anyone except the all-knowing God. I had created my daughter Robin Birdsong with Stevie Wonder in the late 1960s. Conditions had not been optimal for her physical birth yet at that time, the early 70s. So I did not hold back. I lavished heartfelt praise of Stevie Wonder onto Johannon. Johannon listened to me, Beethoven, say Stevie was a musical genius. I liked the way Stevie created easily accessible singable tunes. I had a French name, Michelle. I liked this French title, song, Ma Chérie Amour. Charan Singh, Jesus Christ, told me there's no such thing as a coincidence. Let's see what words we can find in the word coincidence. C for C, O for order, I for pleasure, N for in, C for conscious, ID for identity, E for enter, N for north, C for Carolina, event for E for event. C order, pleasure and conscious identity, daughter of the sun, enter, North Carolina, blessed event, which was a honeymoon and a pregnancy. Johanna listened to me like he had been my husband, because he had been my husband in a past life. He took little Stevie Wonder on as a client and made him a huge pop star. He and Steve got richer. I got poor. Edwin, hearing me praise Stevie Wonder when Stevie called us when our album What It Is was released, and wanted to meet us. Edwin talked his way into practically being a part of Steve's family. Steve's mother, Mrs. Lula Mae Hardaway, called Edwin son. Edwin attached himself to Steve and detached himself from his son, Sing Birdsong, and I, Sing's mother and Edwin's wife. So we got poor. My mother told me that I was going to do all the work of cultivating the children. Then, when they grew up, Edwin was going to take them from me. That's exactly what happened. It is said that mothers see hell. Mothers can see hell. My mother certainly saw my hell. Edwin had taken over Steve's so-called baby's mama, Yolanda Simmons, who said she told her children they had to take care of her. Since she never fell in love with Steve, never made biological babies with him, her only interest in him was in being taken care of, which fits his subconscious programming. Stevie Wonder is the trick. His woman is a whore. So Yolanda was a whore and Stevie was a trick. And he took care of her. He might still be taking care of her for all I know. Since, though I fell in love with Stevie and gave the world his child, we never had physical sex. So I was never his whore and he was never my trick. So there was no babies for Steve to reward or pay Johannon's wife. Let's see what word comes out of the word basis. Jesus Christ says sex is the basis for life. B for B, A ass for ass, I for pleasure, S for sex. B as pleasure sex. Basis. Being basis as sex pleasure. So Johanan was not greedy. He had a, let me just put this here. He was not greedy. He had a contract with Stevie that all the money he made, based on the position Johanan had put him in to make money, Johanan would get, or his heir, his wife, would get a small percentage of. But Stevie took his wife to court, took Johanan's wife to court, and said he hadn't been read the contract before he signed it. I don't believe that. Because I know Johanan had integrity and he was honest and he would never do that. But Stevie may have forgotten. He says things, and then when he's conscious, and then he goes back into his subconscious programming and forgets what he's done. So the judge threw the contract out. So Vagoda's wife was left without the income Vagoda had worked for and left her. But paying Vagoda's wife didn't fit in Steve's subconscious programming. She wasn't his whore, and he wasn't her trick. The only basis he would have to pay her, according to his subconscious programming, he'd have to be conscious to pay her, to feel the debt. Steve didn't pay Motown artist Sarita Wright because they were married when he took her ideas. She was a whore, but he was the pimp. He took her earnings. That's what pimps do. Pimp. Let's see what word we got in pimp. Present. IMP for important. P for person. So the pimp presents himself as an important person. Although Steve owed me for being his agent in effect, and seeing him and selling him to the deal maker who would make him lucrative deals for 40 years to the tune of Stevie now being worth $100 million. But because 95% of the time we are driven by our subconscious programming, Stevie doesn't compute paying Lyric, Sarita's daughter, paying Vagoda's heir, or me, his powerfully persuasive fan. Apparently, Sarita was right when she said Stevie's love is music. That is what he cares enough about to be present with, to be conscious with. When he's at that piano, he can do all kinds of great things because he's conscious. He's in the moment. Otherwise, he's his subconscious programming, like most people, the state of habits, of habitual thinking and acting, not creative, new thinking. Talk and share technique is the only cure I know of, and it was created by myself, Freud, Fritz Perls, Einstein, Sherlock Holmes, and guided into creation by God, Jesus Christ, Govinda Singh Dhillon. The only way to stop being on automatic pilot and becoming a living person is with the talk and share technique. Okay, so there you go. Stevie Wonder explained. Thank you for watching. He's with his daughter, Robin Michelle Birdsong, here at Edwin Birdsong's funeral. His hairstyle, the plaits, came from our first album, What It Is, where I plaited Edwin's hair. And the whole black community all over the world embraced the plaits. And black people started wearing their hair in plaits. Some still do. Many still do. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching.